Okay, I've gone to a second video because I noticed that the first one was starting to get a little bit long. Where last we left off, what was the problem? Well, the background here, we'd moved it far enough back on the z-axis so that we're going to get that nice 3D effect with the people and the words passing in front of it. But the problem is that now it is too small. It looks weird. We've got all this blank space around it. So, how do we fix that? Well, we increase the size of the layer. Go over here, make sure that you got black and white layer, black and white mesh, either or, selected. Now, in the middle of where all these little arrows are, there's a little gray box. If you get right on it, you can see there it says scale uniformly. You can start blowing it up. The other way, if you can't find it, go over once again, make sure you're on current view, get that rotate tool, rotate a little bit, rotate your view. Oh, not that. Control Z, always your friend. Okay, we are rotating the current view. That's what we want to do, rotate current view. Okay, now we go back to the black and white mesh. Okay, there you can see the green, blue, red arrows. Scale uniformly. We want to make this thing way bigger. So let's get it up, say about 130, 140%. Okay? All right. So we've got that blown up a lot. Let's go back to the current view, go back to default camera. All right. So now it's filling the screen. Very nice. What's the problem? People are walking in midair. Okay, we got to move them down a little bit. How are we going to do that precisely? You can drag on the arrows, or you can just go over here and start dragging it down on the y-axis. Get them so that their feet are actually on the ground or on the frame. Okay? All right, we've got this pretty well, looking pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down to the video timeline. Go down here at the bottom. If it's not open, you go to Window. Make sure the timeline is selected. This will turn on this little panel here at the bottom, Create Video Timeline. Okay, this is where it's going to start getting a little intense. Okay? All right, what we're going to do, like I said, is create a video timeline. Okay? Go up to Scene, Create Video Timeline. There it is. Wow. Okay. Come down here, twirl it down, open it up. Look at all this fun stuff. Amazing. Look at all that. Most of that you're probably not going to want to deal with at the moment. 3D meshes. The one thing that we are concerned with is the camera position. Now, remember from the other training, how do we animate things? Enable a keyframe animation, okay? That's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be moving anything in the actual scene, although we could do that. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving the camera. So it looks like the camera's actually moving, and it gives this illusion of depth, space, and movement to our composition here, okay? All right, one of the things that I note as I'm doing this is that my background isn't quite big enough yet. So what we're going to do here, and by the way, you can always open up the history panel there to undo some of your changes if you really want to. We are going to change the size of the black and white layer. We're going to jack that up a little bit again. To do this, we're going to have to go on the current view, go to rotate so I can get my mitts on that little gray box. A little black and white layer. Okay, now I can see that. All right. Scale uniformly. I'm going to crank this thing up somewhere around like 130%. Then I'm going to push it back along the z-axis so that it's further away from my peeps. Go back to current view. Take a look at how this looks from default camera. Yeah, all right. We got something going on there. All right. Coming on down to 3D camera position. Make sure you've got current view chosen there. 3D camera position. Click this little stopwatch. Okay. All right. One thing I just noticed as well, I've got way too much of a timeline here. Okay, so we're going to go, a couple of things we're going to do. Panel options. First, we're going to show this in frame numbers, not time code. If you got it as time code, you don't want that. You want it as frame numbers. Okay, probably moving right now with what you got, I would say no more than 100 frames. Come down here, you guys are familiar with this kind of thing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be dragging this whole timeline here down to about 100 frames. Okay, it's about 3-4 seconds. That's enough time to do something like this. If you want to do a longer interstitial for the Ken Burns effect and have it on screen for 5, 10, 15 seconds, that's cool. Right now for what we're doing, let's just try to keep it short so that we're not causing the computer to have a heart attack. Okay, so once again on current view, this is where we are. We're looking at everything this way. Take the little playhead down here in the timeline, move it all the way to the end of your little composition. Right there. Okay, so end of the work area, we're going to click not the stopwatch again. That would make all of the little points disappear. Instead, we're going to click this little triangle there and see little triangle comes up on our path. All right, so the camera now is in the same position all the way along it. That's not what we want. We know right here the camera's at start position. Right now we're at end position. What we're going to do is we're going to come back up here on this little thing, slide the 3D object. What we're sliding right now is the current view, not any one of these other layers. And all we're going to do is we're just going to move it all the way across until we kind of come to the other end of the screen. Okay? Everybody got that? All right, so let's test out what it looks like when we do this. Take the playhead back to the very beginning, you hit the space bar, and you'll see it's going to go really slow the first time because it's rendering each frame. This may take a long time depending on how much memory, how beefy your video card is, and at the end of it, you'll come to the end of your little 3D rendering. Okay, now go back again, you'll see it in a little bit quicker time, in real time. See, looks like the people are actually walking, looks like the letters are floating in the air in front of them. You can do all kinds of other things here. If you wanted to mess around with, I don't know, where the people are, you could animate the people so that they bounce up and down here. Take a look at that. All right, by the end of this, see, now they bounce all around, but we don't want to do anything like that. So Control Z, we've got everything done the way that we want to. Actually, let's step backwards, get rid of that. Okay, we didn't want to have that effect on there. We've still got our 3D camera position. Now, how are we going to get this out in a way that we can actually use it? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you go on to File, Export, Render Video. Okay, so I am putting this into a subfolder. I'm doing it in Vimeo HD 720p. And then you render the video and have it to show to me, okay? All right, everybody, that is the end of this little training session here. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I'm going to post all of this onto the Facebook group. I'm also saving it onto my YouTube channel. We're going to be going over this in class. I expect that there's going to be a lot of problems with it. This is a very complex thing, but learning how to deal with 3D is very much kind of future-proofing yourself, okay? All right, see you all on Thursday. Bye.